We talk about a lot about creating a ripple effect on the show, but how do you actually create a ripple effect when you feel like you don't have a lot to create one? This is how you do it. Hello, my fellow Ripplers. This is Chris Miles, your cash flow expert and anti-financial advisor. This show is for you if you want your money to work harder for you, so you don't have to work so hard for that money. You want to become work optional, where you have enough passive income so you work because you want to, not because you have to. But I know for you, it's not just about getting rich, although that's always a great byproduct. But more importantly, it's about creating a rich life, because as you're blessed financially, you now have a greater capacity to bless the lives of those around you. And that is the ripple effect you're here to create. And that's the ripple effect I'm here to create for you. Thank you for tuning in, binging and sharing on these episodes. And now that we're almost at 1,000 episodes, that's all because of you. So thank you for being a part of this movement and becoming a rippler in your own life. Hey guys, as a reminder, the Work Optional Blueprint book is now released. You can now get it. You can go to moneyripples.com or check out Amazon to get your copy today. All right, guys. So as I mentioned, let's talk about this ripple effect. How is it you can actually create a bigger ripple effect, even if you feel like you don't have the resources or means to do so? And the truth is, that's an absolute bold-faced lie. And that's exactly why I have Alexa here on with us. Now, if you know Alexa DePaolo, she is a rock star. I mean, not only has she been in the lending space, not only is it awesome that she actually has a company that, get this, guys, the company's name, which I think is kind of cool, is called The Ripple Effect. Okay, so there you go, right? She even has her own event, Ripple Effect Live, that's coming up here soon in Colorado. We'll talk about that as well. But she has been inspiring entrepreneurs for 16 years, been helping people be able to step in this greater space of power so that you can not only just become a better entrepreneur, but master that mindset that often is what keeps us limited. And by the way, her story of from rags to riches is impactful. So be sure to tune in. Alexa, glad to have you on today.
Thank you so much for having me. I love what you said. I love what you said about investing in you and not having the money or time to right now, and that being a bold-faced lie, because unfortunately it is. And why am I the last person to take care of me? Isn't that interesting that that's such a natural response for people? Is when did I decide that I was not worthy enough to invest in? When
Mm.
did I decide I was not worthy enough to invest in health and invest in financially, invest in emotionally? I mean, it's really interesting that we tend to tell ourselves that lie on a regular basis. I believe in investing in you because no one else is going to do it.
I've been guilty of that many, 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 many times.
I think we all are, but that's like the lesson you learn out of it is, oh yeah, no one else was going to do it. You've got to, I think you have to be guilty of it before you can realize that investing in you is the best way to move forward, best way for success.
Now, this is interesting coming from somebody who came from a really humble background. Can you tell us more about that story? Because you were sharing with me before the air, and it's amazing to hear your story.
Thank you. So I came from poverty. We would go days without running water, days without electricity. It was very,
Mm.
very common in my home. And I think what people don't realize is when that's your environment, that's just your reality. You don't really realize that there's anything outside of that, except for in the movies, right? In the movies, that doesn't exist. But in your life, that's just very normal. And, fast forward, I'm a young single mom and I'm living on welfare and not able to get ahead. And when you live on welfare, if you make $1 too much, you lose all your benefits. And so when you are trying to get out of that pattern, you have to go really big.
Yeah.
And for me, it was, I'm just going to bet on me because there was no one else that was going to give me a massive raise. A company wasn't going to tell me like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna give you this expense, just so you don't have to work every day.
Hmm.
And so I went big. I couldn't go any lower than living on welfare. So I bet on me, went commission only, and built a life I could have only dreamed of. Again, I really didn't realize how much success I could have built. But
Hmm.
it wasn't the money. It wasn't just the money. It was like being able to keep the lights on. Again, I was trying to decide between keeping lights on and feeding my daughter, and I was reliving my past, living on poverty. And so there was no questions asked. I was going to change her life. But the difference of being able to put my daughter in soccer, or to just be able to buy her new shoes, or to keep the lights on and
Hmm.
to be able to feed her simultaneously was what that success looked like for me. But then it turned into being able to do these family trips. Then it turned into being able to, get her into horseback riding lessons. Like it,
Yeah.
it was just being able to live a rich life and being able to give the girls something we didn't have, which was everything for me. I mean, it was everything. They are my absolute why in this world. And it was powerful to know that I earned the ability to be able to do that by investing in me and taking risk on myself and just really like not taking no for an answer anymore.
Yeah. And before I go, I want to go back to the story again, but before I
Yeah,
do,
sorry.
tell us what you're doing today.
So today I travel the world. I'm sorry, I travel the United States and I teach. I'm a keynote speaker and I teach lenders and realtors how to build their business up. And that's what we're doing in Denver. I am hosting the Ripple Effect October 17th and 18th. And what inspired me to do this was we're worthy. We are worthy. I didn't graduate college. I wasn't the smartest person walking into a room. So why are we in our own way when it comes to proper success and proper business momentum? And I
Right.
want to teach people that. So that's what I do. I travel the United States. I teach people about success and strategy. And it's been, I don't know, it's just so powerful to me to be able to give people the tools that they need to be successful, because that's what I was given when I was building my career. And I think that fulfillment comes from a place of being able to help people who are feeling like they aren't worthy, feeling like they're undeserving, and being able to see the confidence change in them. It's been a wonderful experience.
Yeah. I know from my own experience, because I've had those kind of feelings as well, those feelings of unworthiness, feelings of like, especially if you come from a background where the poverty is kind of part of your story, it's really hard to break that pattern. And it's not like something you just want to share with the world, especially with other business owners that seem like they've got it all made. And then you're
Mm-hmm.
saying like, yeah, like I feel like I suck, or I feel like I'm not worth it, or that. It sounds like this event's kind of like, hey, we all get each other, right?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the people speaking here came from very similar backgrounds, and we're all consistently closing between 50 million to $250 million a year. So, what made them more, what's allowing them to do that, and why you aren't doing that, right? Why are their businesses doubling or even up by at least 40%, and why other people's business is down by 40%? But it is just the consistent moving, using a strategy and consistently moving forward, and really just like being good to people. I mean, the baseline of all of this is just really genuinely being good to people and caring about them on a deep level. Like having fun and making money, those things go together. Being good to people
Yeah.
and making money can go together. And it's it really is about just bringing those humble beginnings. And it was a really insecure place to start talking about that poverty and that background. I didn't talk about it for many years because I didn't think anybody would care, and I didn't want people to think I was less than. But right, that was me in my own way, where then I realized, no, that story is the point of the story is to be able to show you and teach you that if I could do it, then you can do it. That I wasn't more deserving, I wasn't more worthy, and I didn't have the tools. I didn't. I was just willing to be the hardest working person in the room. And that's what set me apart. And I want everybody else to know that. I want them to have those insider secrets on how to do that and how to get out of your own way for that growth and that success.
I love it. Well, and by the way, I know we'll have a link in the show notes too for anybody who wants to register for that event. So just so you know, like that's calling to you, be sure you're there because that's coming up in just a few weeks. So make it happen. In fact, I want to talk about that because I can already hear there's going to be excuses of why they can or cannot do this, and this ties in directly with your story because I know just like me, like I spent 5 years of my childhood living in a trailer park. We had the double wide, so we were the wealthy ones, with the $300 a month rent on that place, but like that was a hard thing for me to kind of go from essentially kind of feeling like I was trailer trash. The kid that had too high of pants, people kept asking me if I was waiting for a flood. I'm like, well, it's Oregon. It's always raining. Of course I'm gonna wait. Like, yeah, of course there's a flood. I didn't know what they were talking about. Then I realized like, oh, they're insulting me right now because my pants were so high because I couldn't afford to buy new pants and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how
Mm-hmm.
does somebody like that bridge that gap and become more successful? Even like you're saying, 25, $50 million to people seems like unreal. How do you bridge that gap? What's the first step?
I think the first step is mindset, is positive self-talk. And I know we hear this all the time, and that's really difficult. And it seems so simple that it seems like it can't be that easy, but it really, your brain doesn't know the difference between the truth and a lie. I
Mm.
remind myself all the time that fear and faith are both invisible. So if I'm going to give the power to the fear, I might as well start giving some power to the faith that
Yeah.
it's going to work out. And what made somebody else more worthy than me? Like I use Jeff Bezos as a constant example of somebody, like, we're all older than Amazon. Most of us are. And what
Mhm.
if he stopped 5 years earlier, 10 years earlier, because everyone told him he couldn't do it, or he just stopped believing in his product? Just be the person willing to work the hardest in the room and consistently do that every single day. Consistently push forward. And you can wake up and you can make the excuses. But if you just give as much power to that self-talk and that forward movement, like, the world is your oyster. I mean, there, nothing can stop you. And that is the first step, is it is the positive self-talk, which then allows you to start seeing different opportunities that present themselves, because you stop making excuses and you started believing that it's just going to present itself. I know it. I know that I'm worth it. And
If you've been following this podcast, you're probably looking for great ways to create passive income right now, right? Well, we got you covered here with Central Lending. Central Lending specializes in alternative investments that actually are designed to create steady returns and long-term financial security for you and your family. Now, they prioritize transparency. They love, building those strong relationships, giving you that confidence and peace of mind, knowing that you have your money working harder for you, so you don't have to work so hard for that money. You want to learn more how to do that? Go to centrallending.com and check out what they've got today to create your passive income and wealth creation right now.
I think you said that too, where you have that insecurity of, oh, I'm just trailer trash. Like, that's hard. Oh,
Mhm.
I grew up in poverty. I shouldn't be in this room. But Noah's like, I'm worthy enough to be in this room, and not in an arrogant way. Like, you really need to be smart, hungry, and humble. Those three, that's like the formula.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be the smartest. You just need to be smart enough to know that you're worth it too. And that all comes from self-talk, because your brain is not going to know the difference. So if I tell myself I'm not worth it every day, that's real. But if I tell myself I'm worth it every day, that's also real. So which one are you going to tell yourself? And I think that's number one, step one.
I don't know if you ever seen the movie Little Miss Sunshine.
Uh-uh.
Had like Steve Carell and Abigail Breslin, that kind of thing. But he was his whole thing was a motivational speaker about thinking positive. But his whole challenge through the whole movie was thinking positive, right?
Yeah,
Because it's more than just trying to think positive thoughts, isn't it? Like it's literally an embodiment. Like you have to
it is an
be
embodiment.
that person.
It is. And for me, it started with the affirmations, and I would say it but not believe it. Right. So I
Mhm.
was saying the words, but I wasn't believing them. It was an embodiment. It was like, what is the worst thing that's going to happen if I start believing this? But embodying it. And it is like, there is a shift that you feel when you're like, no, I'm just not taking no for an answer anymore. I'm just going to believe in this. But it's not just saying it, it's not just thinking it, but sometimes it starts with thinking it every single day, and then it starts to turn into an embodiment. It's different for everybody, but it is an embodiment. I would spend every morning focusing on my affirmations and my mindset for the day. And I wouldn't leave that moment until I was embodying it, until I was just like, no, 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 I said this enough times and now I believe it. And
Mhm.
it really truly is an embodiment, because it changes the way energy is flowing to you. It changes the way you're showing up in the room. And then all of a sudden the opportunities start presenting themselves. I mean, it's that simple, but it's also that hard, right? But it is an
Mhm.
embodiment. You have to live it. You have to.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I can. This is obviously mostly a money show, and I want to talk about the money excuse because I know there's going to be people that make the excuse that, hey, that sounds like a great event, but I can't afford it, right? Like I just, it's not just the money, but obviously like I have to take time off work, I have to travel. There's got to be some place to stay. I got to buy the tickets even. Like, what do you say to somebody like that?
This is interesting, because we've seen a lot of this recently too. Like, people who really say that they want success, but then they've got the excuse of investing in themselves. But like, what's the
Uh-huh.
cost of staying right where you are? Because that's more expensive than the ticket it does to like learn the strategies of what people are doing. Like, these people are actually going to teach you. I can't pay you enough money. You couldn't pay me enough money to teach you everything that I've learned over the years and all my strategies and all my skills, because it would just take so long. So I'm just going to bring you in the room to do it. And
Yeah,
what is a $500 ticket to earn an extra $100,000 in your career,
yeah.
$200,000, an extra $50 million in your business? Like, what is that at the end of the day when you turn that ROI? Like, what is the cost of staying right where you are? And that's what I think people need to ask themselves is, everybody wishes they would have done it yesterday. But then no one makes the decision to do it now and today. They're going to put themselves on the back burner. And I think that's more expensive than anything.
So true. I often say this is that there's one thing that's more expensive than education, it's ignorance, right?
Isn't that beautiful? Oh, it's so
Always
true.
more costly, than education. And I know it's just funny because it reminded me of some of the times like because people know my story. They know I was flat broke, even beyond broke, over $1 million in debt at one point, and I remember just trying to go to events and I would get so creative, right? I think that's where you have to like have that, have that, you really got to be hungry, but also humble too, right?
Huh?
And so I remember like, I don't know if this is the case with your event. I don't know the details, but like, I was one of those things I could get a ticket for free, right?
Mhm.
So I would tell them, it's like, listen, hey, I can get you a ticket, pay me X amount of dollars, like however many hundreds of dollars, and I'll get you in. Like normally this
Mhm.
ticket's $1,000 or whatever it would be. I was like, I'll get you this ticket for this amount. And so I would get them in. And I was like, cool, that would help me pay for the trip.
Yeah.
Or I'd offer to carpool. It's like, hey, why don't we carpool? Just help me with gas money, like literally, because that's what I have to do. I'm already driving anyways, right? If I'm gonna have to drive there. So I would do that.
Yeah.
Had to have to stay with a friend in the area or find a friend or whatever it might be. I
Mhm.
mean, there were so many like different ways I would try to do to save on those costs, even beyond the event.
I
And you're
think that's the
right.
difference between making excuses though, right?
Yeah.
Is like you can make the excuse to stay where you are and that's fine, but then like be okay. Stop complaining about where you're at then. I mean, I know that sounds really harsh, but then if you're okay with staying where you're at, then just stop complaining about it and understand that that was a choice because you
Yeah.
are responsible for your success and you are responsible for your failings. And so, and again, I find that empowering because that means I'm in control of the growth. And and then when I fall flat on my face, I'm not hard on myself about it. It just means I needed to learn something different. I needed to tweak something or pivot it. But I mean, in this day and age, I think it's pretty easy to get fairly creative. I mean, there's so much that you can do to get creative to at least create a little extra income for yourself, even if
Yeah.
it's temporary, that I just don't. What was if I would have had excuses to, well, I can't do that. I can't build that business. If you would have had excuses, you wouldn't be where you are. I wouldn't be where I'm at. And no wasn't an option. No
Yeah.
just wasn't an option. And I think that's again a bit of a mindset shift is realizing that accepting the fact that you are the one making the excuses and that you have to be the one to change that and you have to start saying yes to things that are going to benefit you in your future or stop complaining about where you're at.
That's right. Yeah. You can either execute or have excuses, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Or I
Exactly.
remember I had one mentor, she told me, she's like, people that give reasons won't get results. Like
Yes.
if you keep giving reasons, you'll never get results, and so which one do you rather have? And it's true. I think that's a big thing that people forget. And I'll tell you this from my experience, like the more I sacrificed to go to an event, the more intentional I was, the more I got out of the event. I was
Yes.
way better. I mean, I get less out of events today just because I have more than enough money to go to those events. It's not even a sacrifice anymore. But when
Yeah.
it's a sacrifice, I made sure I was like this, the most note-taking person in the room. I would try to do whatever I
Yeah.
could, meet new people, because I realized pretty early on, you're always just one idea or one relationship from millions of dollars. And who's to say
One
that's not in that
person
room?
Yeah, one person, one event, one idea can change the
Yeah,
trajectory of your entire life. So why would I not create the proximity of all the right people who are already doing it bigger and better than me? Because I could just, what if I'm doing nine things right, but I need one extra thing to build the business? It's that one idea could come from being in that room and it can change the trajectory. I just did an interview with a friend of mine. He's a professional UFC fighter, and we were dead broke when we were in college together and he was in the right room at the right time and surrounded himself with the right people and kicked the door down when the opportunity presented itself. And that's what it's about.
yeah,
It's truly what it's about. Be in the right room at the right time and surround yourself with the right people because proximity matters because the one idea, the one person can change the trajectory of forever. It absolutely can.
it's true. And I've seen that happen in my own life many, many times. In fact, probably nobody would even know who I was right now, would be following this podcast had I not done this very thing you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And they say your network is your net worth, right? It's the people you
Mhm.
know. It's not, oh, I get all this business from my network. No, it's the elevation when you're around these people because again, no different than the environment. When I live in poverty, that's my narrative, that's my environment, it's my reality. It's the same when you surround yourself with people who have similar ambitions and who have like good growth. They're good to people. They're making money. They're kicking butt. That's
Mhm.
now my narrative. That's now my environment. And that is then what you become, because you really do become what you surround yourself with.
So true. Alexa, this has been so awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Any final parts of wisdom? I mean, you've given lots of wisdom already. Any other final words of wisdom you'd like to leave us with?
I would like to say, if you're not going to invest, like, why wait to invest in yourself? No one else is going to do it for you. You need to do it no matter how you're doing it. Invest in you. Always put yourself first. And feel free to follow me at the Alexa DePaolo, or feel free to get a ticket at the Ripple Effect, AlexaDePaolo.com, and you can select the tab, the Ripple Effect. Hope to see you guys there.
Awesome. Yeah, we for sure have that in the show notes. And it's true. Like we said, like it's, you can always get money back, but you can never get that time back, right? That you've lost or you could have made an opportunity out of. So, guys, make sure you're in the right room with the right people, learning the right things, and your ripple effect can get greater as well. So, that's my final advice to you guys. Now go and make it a wonderful and prosperous week. And we'll see you later.
Thank, thank you.